Hello and welcome, developers. My name is Shay, and this is another episode of Shay Develops. Today we're going to be talking about objects and classes in Java. Classes are templates used to create new data types and objects. And of course, if you watch my string video, objects are saved permanently to the heap until the JVM, which is the Java Virtual Machine, can do its garbage collection and remove it when it finds that it's no longer being pointed to, in the reference is no longer being pointed to in a variable. All right, so let's create a basic object real quick, and we can do that with the object keyword, and then the name equals new object. And now this doesn't have anything in it. We can go ahead and run that and see what happens. Let it build. You'll see that in the very bottom here. Actually, let me make this bigger. Just realize it's small. There we go. And then boom, we just get the reference to the object. So there's actually nothing saved in here. So what I could do is then save a string to it. So my new object. And then now it should print out my new object. As you can see, it does right here. Alright, so let's create a class within our main Java file here. And usually you wouldn't do this, you would create it in a separate file, and we're going to do that here in just a moment. So let's do public static class. Let's create one for a person. And then we want to pass some, we're not going to pass it, we're going to create some fields, which is just variables that we're going to access. And this is going to be part of the data type that we're creating, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of this. So now we have a class that uses that has a field of name. So let's go ahead and create this. So we go person. Just do person equals new person. And actually, we don't even have to do this because we don't have a constructor within our class right now. And a constructor is a way to pass information once we create it, so you can create them in the same way, and then it stores, that data back on the heap. So instead, we could just do person, and then do person.name equals, and we'll do my name. And that actually doesn't work. Initialize variable person. Oh, okay, because we set it to, we didn't set anything. So we have to first declare it and then initialize it. So that should be fixed now. And now we can output person.name. And then run that. And then it should output . Oh, we get a null pointer exception. Interesting. I'm guessing that's because we have set person to null right there, and that is not working. So instead, let's fix this. We'll do new person, and then don't forget my parentheses. And let's run that again. I like to record my mistakes. I like to record my mistakes so you guys can see the mistakes too, because you're definitely gonna make some. I know I still make them all the time when I'm creating this stuff, and I'm just recording this stuff on the fly. So we now have it working though. It's printing out my name as we create the person, then we add the person.name, and then we output the name. Well, so let's add a couple more fields. So private string, let's do location, and private int, we'll do age. And then let's go ahead and get rid of this. And let's create a constructor. Now I'm going to use a really fast way in IntelliJ to create one. If you're on Windows, it's Alt Insert command, and you'll see this little pop-up here. I can just add a constructor, and I can put in what fields that I want it to be in the constructor. So we do this. Let's see, we have the constructor that's going to be called as soon as we call that new keyword. So we can do person equals, and this right here can be whatever it is you want to name it, right? It doesn't have to be person. I'm just using that. And we'll do new person, and we'll set it the parentheses again, but this time we're going to, it's calling this constructor right here, right? This right here is calling this constructor, so we need to pass it these arguments, which the first one is, you can see, and it pops up right here, this little section right there, that hey, it needs a name. So we got the name, and then it needs a location. I'm in Honolulu right now. And by the way, the weather here is super nice. And we need an age. And we're passing an integer, so if I was to pass a string, it wouldn't like that, right? So I gotta make sure I'm passing an integer. And then now I can output person dot age, location, or name, right? So let's do hi, my name is name. Can't do just name. I have to do person dot name. I am live in, go ahead and bring this down to another line. Now that's going to print out, hi, my name is Shay, I am 34, and I live in Honolulu. Using this person class, like which I said is the template that we use to create our object. And then our object is the person object, right? Because it's the new data type we created. Because Java doesn't have a data type of person. All right, let's scroll that in so you can see. Hi, my name is Shay, I'm 34, and I live in Honolulu. So I could actually make that just a smidge better, and this really doesn't even matter, right? By putting a period on the end. Okay, so remember how I said, yeah, you're usually not going to create your class within your main method, right? This is where you're going to be calling your classes and stuff like that, but not creating them. So you can create its own. So we go right here within our package, which is the .com or com.shaydevelops package right here, and then we're going to create a new Java class and we're going to call it person. And whenever you're creating a class, you're going to, I forget the name of it, but it's kind of like camel case, except for you're going to capitalize the first letter in every word. So if I was going to do like this person or whatever, which that's a silly name, but you would capitalize every word. So go ahead and create that class, and now we can create those fields again. So these are fields, and the first one is string name, private string location, and I could just copy and paste this, but I'm just going to type it back out again. Private int age. And now the reason I'm making these private is because you don't want them to be accessed outside of the class, because I mean, you can display them outside the class, but you're not going to access them outside the class because that can potentially be a vulnerability. Alright, so now we're going to create our constructor again. And I want to have all three, right? And then you can also do something else in these classes. You can actually do a lot. You can create custom methods, which we can do that later. But we can also do a getter and setter, which getter and setters are another way to save data into the person object, or to display the data from the person object. And let's also say that I wanted to create another custom object, right? Like public void, and by the way, this void is just saying that we're not returning anything. So you'll see here where we're getting the age, get age, we're returning the age. We're going to output it. But here where we're setting the age, we're not outputting anything, so there's no return. So there's nothing to return. So it's going to be a void. So I'm going to do public void. We're going to do information, right? And we're going to pass it a person class. We'll just call it person, or person object, excuse me. And we can just do the same output, and I'm going to copy and paste it this time. Right here. Alright. So now we have that ready to go, and we can get rid of it all right here. So I'm going to leave the class that we created because this is still fine. Now this is actually now talking to this class right here using the same constructor, which is right here, and this might be a little small. Right, using this same constructor to save data to these fields, creating our new data type, and then we can go here and we can call information and pass it the person we created. Let's just do information. So that'd be person dot information, and then we're going to pass it which we may not even have to actually do that, but this will work. And there we go. We've outputted the same thing using a method that we created within the class, right? So say we wanted to update, let's do person dot set new name to Billy, right? And now we can do person dot information person, We don't want to make a duplicate of that, but all right, we're going to run that again. This first one says, "Hi, my name is Shay." The second one says, "Hi, my name is Billy." Because we used the set name command, set name method in our setter, and setters usually start with the set, so they're easily identifiable. And then if we wanted to use the getter, let's do person dot get age, and it should just output 34, as it does. Boom, right there. Alright, so that is the basics of using classes and objects. And just remember, they're a template. Classes are a template. Like I said, this part right here is it's all a template. Well, the whole thing's a template, but it's a template used to create a new data type that is going to be used as an object. And then objects are permanently saved to our heap, which is then used by Java, the Java virtual machine, to display this stuff to, the user or whatever it is that you're doing with it, make changes, whatever. But then during storage, garbage collection, which we haven't talked about this, but during garbage collection, if no variable, like say I created a new class here, and it's like person equals new person, and I'll do Billy, he lives in Chicago, and Billy is 12. And actually, this is not how you would do that at all. We would actually just do person equals new person, because person is already an object, so we don't have to restate what the object type is going to be. Like, remember, this is our type, so it'd be the same thing as doing like int 1 equals 10 or 1, whatever. This int is our data type, so it's the same thing as our person. So remember, I said we're creating a new data type, so we want to make sure that we're putting that there. So let's create a new one for, like I said, Billy, who lives in Chicago, and Billy is 12. Alright, so now this object is pointing to, on the heap, it's pointing to a reference to get this information whenever you call it later. It's not actually pointing to the values themselves, it's just a reference to the values. But now that we've overrode it here and started pointing to a new reference, whenever the Java virtual machine does its garbage collection, it's going to realize that this reference is no longer being pointed to, especially if we got rid of all this stuff here, is no longer being pointed to, and it's going to erase it from reference, and we will have no way to access it anymore. It'll be gone, it'll be lost. So that might be what you want, it might not be, but that's just something to keep in mind. We'll have a video on garbage collection and stacks and heaps and all that stuff, and how Java works with that stuff. But just keep in mind, whenever you create an object, you are saving a reference to the heap where the actual data is being stored. Alright, but that's it. Hopefully you guys have learned something. And if you have, please, I say it every video, but like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification icon. Tell me how I can help you guys. Put it in the comments. Tell me what you're struggling with. Let's see if I can't figure it out, make a video on it. write something back, whatever it is that I can do, because that's what I want. I want to help people learn how to code. All right, other than that though, you guys are awesome. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully you guys had a Merry Christmas. Y'all take care.